This is the lesson on section 5.1, operations with polynomials. Okay, so the first thing I'd like you to do, talking about goal 1 on multiplying and dividing polynomials, please take a moment to look at and understand the properties of exponents on page 303. So what I'd like you to do is pause the video or stop the video and look at those properties in your book. If you have to, take a look at some of the different online stuff that I've either posted or online about properties of exponents, any YouTube videos that can help you understand those properties of exponents. Because we're going to be using those properties a lot, and one of the biggest things students struggle with is understanding all of the different things they can and can't do with exponents. Okay, so take a moment, pause while doing so, but look at these exponents and the properties they are. Okay, so after you've done the looking at the understanding the properties of exponents, we're going to talk about simplifying a monomial. First of all, we need to know what a monomial is, and a monomial is a product of variables. So you're multiplying multiple variables together, possibly. Numbers, a number can be multiplied, and then the variables, of course, are to an exponent, or could be. Now, when simplifying a monomial, these are 4 rules that you need to know. You need to know that you can't have a power of a power. Okay, you cannot have a power of a power. You should know what that is because you just looked at that on the properties of exponents. Each base appears once. Okay, so you need to know what bases are. Bases are what you're taking the exponent of. So like a variable, those are the bases. All fractions are simplified. There are no negative exponents. Okay, so you actually can't have a negative exponent when you're simplifying a monomial. All right, so I've got a couple examples for each one of these. No powers of powers. When you have a power of a power such as a squared b cubed, both of them to the 4th power, that's a power of a power situation. And so what you need to do is take each one of these to that 4th power. So that is a to the 8th, b to the 12th. That is the best way to write that situation, because now you do not have powers of powers. Okay, when you're multiplying, each base appears once. Well, I've got 2 c's here, and I've got 2 d's, so I need to combine those if I can. And so I have c cubed times c to the 4th, so that is c to the 7th. When you're multiplying bases, you add exponents. Again, that was up in the properties of exponents. Hopefully you looked at that. D is also to the 7th because you have 6 d's here and 1 d there. When you multiply them, you have 7 of them. Okay, here's a fraction. So you're not supposed to have fractions that are not simplified. 12 divided by 3 can be simplified as a 4. I've got e squared on the top, e to the 3rd on the bottom. If I simplify that, I have 1 more e on the bottom than I do on the top. So I should have 1 e on the bottom, or e to the 1st. F cubed over f. That leaves me with an f squared on the top, because there's 3 f's on the top, 1 on the bottom. That one cancels out one of the 3's. Okay, so that is a simplified fraction. Now, what if you would have done this a little bit differently? Let's say you use the subtraction of exponents when you were dividing. You might have ended up with 4 e to the negative 1st, f to the 2nd. And this is where the negative exponent comes in. If you have a negative exponent, you need to get rid of that. And so here, the e needed to go to the denominator because it has a negative exponent. And so the answer should have looked like this instead of with a negative exponent. Okay, so those are the big things that you need to know with exponents. Knowing the properties, how to use them is huge. And then knowing what simplified a monomial means, simplifying a monomial. And so looking and understanding and being able to identify situations that you have to deal with. Okay, so let's do some examples from this first goal. Okay, so here I've got 1A, 1B, 1C, and 1D from the book. So hopefully you're able to follow along with that. All right, so 1A, we've got a situation where we've got multiple bases, we've got multiple negative exponents, and we need to be able to multiply these together. Now, keep in mind some of the things that we have to do. And so as long as we understand the exponents, or the properties of exponents, and we know what we're looking for with simplifying, we need to be able to follow that. So here I want to, first of all, maybe get rid of the bases, the multiple bases. And so if I'm multiplying, I'm going to go ahead and multiply the constants or the numbers. So that ends up negative 14. X to the negative third times x to the fifth. I add the exponents. That is x to the second. Y to the third times y to the negative sixth is y to the negative third. And then now I've got a negative exponent, so I am going to go ahead and drop that down to the bottom to get rid of the negative exponent in that simplified form. Okay, so same here. We have a fraction already. I've got multiple bases. I need to simplify. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go ahead and simplify 15 divided by negative 3, which is negative 5 in the numerator. I have 5 c's on the top, 2 on the bottom. So basically what I'm looking at here is I'm looking at 5 c's here, and I've got 2 here. These two cancel out with those two, leaving me c to the third on the top. And so that's how you simplify fractions. D to the third, D to the seventh. That means I've got 3 d's on the top, 7 d's on the bottom. These 3 cancel out with 3 of these, leaving me with 4 d's on the bottom, or d to the fourth. And that is simplified form. All right, 1c here. We've got a power of a power, basically. So we're going to take a to the negative third, 4 to the negative third. So I'm taking both of those to the negative third. Now, if you have a negative exponent, that gets moved to the bottom if it's in the top. If it's in the bottom already, it's going to get moved to the top. So basically, you're switching those around, making those positive exponents at the same time. Then I would probably want to go ahead and simplify 4 to the third is 64 over a to the third. So that is simplified form. 1d, we've got negative 2 to the fifth, which if we did that, it would be negative 32. We've got x to the third to the fifth, which is x to the 15th, and then y to the second to the fifth, or y to the 10th. That is simplified form. Now, that is 4 problems. There are lots of different types of problems within these exponents and properties. As you are working through the assignment, you must try to understand what you're looking for. And that's why you need to know those properties of exponents inside and out. And then what you're looking for to do as far as simplifying. And so always keep an eye on those simplifying rules and what you need to end up with when you're done. Don't forget to check your answers, but don't just change your answer, of course. Make sure that you understand what you were doing wrong and what you needed to do right to get the answer correct. Good luck. I'll move on to goal 2 here, and but I would strongly urge you to work on these types of problems first.